Colorado starting center Cash Cleveland enters the transfer portal, and this is some alarming news for Colorado Buffaloes fans here. Cash took over as the starting center at Colorado last season. He was a walk-on, and last season Hank Salinkas was the starting center for Colorado. And as we got later into the year, I believe the Texas Tech game, had some issues snapping the ball, low snaps, high snaps, whatnot. Cash comes in as a true freshman walk-on, steps up to the plate and plays pretty damn well. Cash Cleveland, another IMG Academy product, out of 6 solid games for Colorado playing last season. I thought he was a really great player for Colorado, somebody who worked up from that walk-on spot. And he enters the portal here, which, is really alarming to me, really surprising, Coach Fred. After Cash entered the portal here, we saw Jordan Seaton, fellow teammate and high school teammate, actually, of Cash's at IMG Academy, post his tweet saying, "Sports crazy now. Can't even build a true brotherhood anymore. Too much. I and me." Coach Fred, what are your thoughts on the tweet there from Jordan Seaton and from Cash Cleveland entering the portal here? I believe I would take a wild guess he got plucked and got some money elsewhere, but nonetheless surprising here. Coach Fred, your thoughts. Go ahead.
The tweet is very real. Just from looking at the portal, you can see how it is now. If a guy comes in with a class of 24, and 6 months later, 10 out of the 15 that came in the class of 24 gone. What's the continuity? Where are you at? And then this case right here is exactly what you said. A kid that was paying his own way, put some good stuff on film, and someone in some department saw it and was like, well, hey, we'll give you a scholarship plus. And I think that's what it is. And I could see him going in there and going to Coach Prime and saying, hey, I need X amount of dollars plus a scholarship. And I can also see Coach Prime saying, no, sir, that kind of thing. So, when you start talking about, and again, we're speculating, but when you start talking about the initial negotiations, that's one of those deals that I'm sure is starting to happen. And I can see a kid that was a walk-on that came in and became a starter. I can see him getting the nudge, getting the urge to go in there and say, hey, I think I did pretty well. I think I deserve X amount of dollars. And I can see them saying no. And then I can see 30 other teams in his DMs telling them that, hey, we got it for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with several Colorado players, and we're going to discuss in a second, Deion Sanders calling out Virginia for attempting to poach some of his players and offered them some large sums of money here. You can definitely assume that Cash Cleveland falls under that. Definitely got plucked, so to speak, from a bigger school giving him a contract. I don't know if I necessarily have a problem with this. I was definitely surprised by this, Coach Fred, considering Cash really stepped up and took over at that center position. He and Jordan Seaton were high school teammates. They have even more of his high school teammates coming up there. London Merritt and McPherson, DNs from IMG Academy, and I'm sure they're going to have more IMG kids coming up to CU. So that's why, to me, it was the biggest alarming, a little bit alarming to me seeing Cash enter the portal. But what I do know about that Colorado offensive line room, led by Andre Gerard, George Hageman, and now Gunnar White, it's going to be competitive. They're going to bring in guys to push you and compete. And if guys don't want to compete, they're going to enter the portal and get out, so to speak. I think that's the case with Cash Cleveland. I also could suspect that he got offered a bag in the portal, considering the way he worked himself up from a walk-on, so to speak. But Coach Fred, it's just interesting the dynamics that go into that. There's no more, like Jordan Seaton tweeted here, there's too much I and me, so to speak. Do you agree with Seaton's tweet here?
I do. And again, like you said, taking Cash out of it, that was a kid that kind of built himself up, so to speak, from a walk-on status. You take him out of it, but then, again, I hate to keep beating the Nico horse, but, here's a kid that I supposedly, allegedly, and it falls right into what he is what he's saying in this tweet,
Right.
and then you come back and you hear what finally Nico says something about it, and it's one of those deals where you got to believe half of what you're hearing from both sides. and I still think it leads back to this tweet. You're never going to have the same roster. And I know you never did anyway because of graduation and things like that, but you're never going to have close to the same roster uh, ever again. As soon as the season's over, it's done. And I was listening to somebody, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Bailey, I can't remember who I was listening to, but you're talking about a team that's getting ready to play for the college football playoffs, and there's guys that saying they're not going to go. I think it was Ohio State backup quarterback.
Yeah. So here's what I heard. So Josh Pate, I believe, is the one who said that. And Josh Pate was actually talking about Nico, saying that Nico potentially would sit out a college football playoff game over NIL contract negotiations, so to speak, Coach Fred. Coach Fred, I'm not going to lie to you. Somebody that I work for and work with, Coach Jason Brown, may have said that 3 years ago about players sitting out playoff games. And it's crazy. Fast forward, we're really seeing it. And, news is coming out about the Nico thing. We saw, who was it? Malik Murphy, Texas's backup quarterback about a year ago, enter the portal before their playoff run where they lost to Washington. But, man, it is and shout out to Lucy for the donation here. Complex issue indeed, Lucy. I agree with you, and I can't thank you enough for the donation. No easy fix in sight. Congress will step in and regulate if they can. I think, Fred, how do you regulate this system, Coach? Like, I don't.
It's got to be a set number. It's got to be a set number. From USC to UMass, it's got to be a set number. And then I get it. The bag man will be back in play. The mysterious bag that shows up on a kid's porch will be back in play. I get it, but it's got to be a set number, a visual set number for everybody. And, the sitting out the playoff game is not going to be just about money. It's going to be about, like you said, the portal. A kid that's not playing, that's not getting an opportunity to showcase his talents to get money, is now going to say, you know what? This window's open. I got to go right now. I wish my guys a lot of luck, but I got to do what's better, what's best for me, whatever, that kind of thing. But, it's just the start of it, man. It's just the start of it.
It's just the start of it, indeed. And Coach Rodney Anderson, who works in NIL, he's like, we're starting to discuss contracts. He's saying at his work they're starting to discuss contracts and the way that would look like in college football,
which was supposed to be scholarships.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And the way it's changed, Coach Fred. The one takeaway I say from it, it is professional football. I don't know how you don't call it that. At this point, it is professional college football, however you want to call it, but they are not. Can't say student athlete anymore. Mike Bundy, shout out for the $10 who pays the tuition at IMG. It's safe to say if you go to IMG, a high school, Coach, you live in lavishly, and it is all football and business down there. For a reason that.
Have you ever seen that campus?
I've never been there. I've seen the campus. It's unbelievable. Just from a perspective of go ahead.
So I recruit there, and it is truly a college.
Mm-hmm.
It is truly a college. They have a hotel on campus. They have about 4 baseball programs. They have like 3 football programs. I think they got 3 basketball programs.
Right.
And then you have just your regular student body. So technically they don't give scholarships, but
right. Yeah.
Your parents have got to be well off really to send you there for multiple years. You know what I mean?
For sure. Definitely.